My gas-powered car emits nearly 2 tons of carbon dioxide a year, and I don't even drive it that much. So it's great that electric vehicles are now a thing. But $40,000 for a brand new EV is way out of my price range. And I just don't know if I'd use it enough to justify it. Besides, I worry that if we all run out and replace our gas cars with EVs, we're just going to put more strain on the planet's resources. Nick Bernards is an associate professor of global sustainable development at the University of Warwick. He says switching to renewable energy means we may have to reduce how much energy we use.
Several studies pretty consistently find that there's not enough cobalt in the world, there's not enough lithium in the world, there's not enough nickel in the world to be able to convert the entire fleet of cars to electric cars, to be able to replace fossil fuel power entirely with wind and solar power.
So I decided to look into options that don't involve buying my own EV. If I lived in Vancouver, I could join a hybrid or EV car share. In fact, Vancouver and Victoria have a 1,900 vehicle hybrid car share called Evo that's run by BCAA. But I don't live there. So I asked if CAA is planning to roll this out anywhere else in the country. This is Dave Wharf, the Senior Manager of Business Operations for Evo.
Well, we'd love to expand in as many places that would have us. The challenge that we have is that we need density. So when you start getting into less dense cities and a lot of suburban areas, it's a business model that is a little bit tougher to work.
Next, I asked our local EV club if maybe anyone there might be looking to buy a shared vehicle. Organizer Ken Shields tells me, no one's brought it up yet.
Well, how about if I write something to the group and I'll let you know what they ping back at me.
Okay, so what about driving a vehicle on used vegetable oil from restaurants? I called up some friends of mine who've been doing this for years. Jason Griffin told me I would need to buy a vehicle that runs on diesel, and it's getting harder and harder to find one that you can convert.
You want to find something that's 2006 or older, because after 2006, there's more going on with emissions controls. It's not compatible with burning vegetable oil.
Okay, so I need to buy a diesel vehicle that's going to be near the end of its life, pay around $2,000 at least to convert it. I don't know if it makes sense. I feel frustrated by the lack of workable solutions here. Governments have known about climate change forever. Shouldn't we have more and better options by now? I put that question to Nick Bernards. He says, governments have been trying to rely on market mechanisms to transition the economy away from fossil fuels, things like giving us rebates for choosing electric cars. The problem is they need to address the context in which we make those choices.
Having viable and affordable and convenient public transit makes a huge difference to how willing people are to take public transit. Same thing with cycling infrastructure in cities, bike lanes that are actually safe or city center roads that are closed to cars make it much easier for a lot of people to get on their bikes.
I put Nick's comments to Infrastructure Canada, by the way. They said, and I quote, "Environmental considerations will continue to be top of mind as the Government of Canada moves forward on its infrastructure priorities, including public transit, active transportation, and the electrification of our transportation sector." I'm still on the fence about how to deal with my vehicle needs, but I know there's one thing that I can do to cut down my emissions. I can start biking everywhere I can. Now, it sure would be nice to have some nice bike lanes around here. For CBC Radio, I'm Heather Kitching.